treasury.ms.gov/college savings to learn more today.
Did you know HBCUs are a great place to network? Did you know Cricket has a great network with speedy 5G and is a proud supporter of HBCUs? Yes.
Mia, everybody already knows that.
Dante, did you know this is an A and B conversation? So you need to see yourself out. He knows now.
See your name and file your claim. Even the smallest counties in Mississippi usually have thousands of people whose names are on the unclaimed money list at the Mississippi State Treasury. That's right. Many counties even have tens of thousands of names listed, totaling tens of millions in unclaimed dollars. Since he's been state treasurer, David McRae has returned a record $80 million to Mississippians who've searched the list, found their names, and staked their claim. About 1 in 10 Mississippians have unclaimed money, and that's why you should check www.treasury.ms.gov or click on Unclaimed Money and search today. If you see your name, file your claim. If it's your money, Treasurer David McRae will get it back to you.
And welcome back to Friday Night Under the Lights, Week 12, Segment 2. George Broadstreet here with you, expecting Russ Robinson shortly, but a big night of playoff action and some really, really good games tonight. I'll remind you that support for Friday Night Under the Lights comes from Cricket Wireless. They have phones, plans, and coverage information that can be found on their website, which is cricketwireless.com. We got a final in double overtime. Double overtime, Oxford wins at home against Germantown 47-44. Thank you, FNUTL, for getting that score for us. 47-44 in double overtime. Remind you some other games we've talked about. Oak Grove over Biloxi in 7A. Just talked to Greg Flynn, big win. Pearl over Gulfport 17-13. And another team that, well, this is in 6A, of course, but another team that is really looking strong in 6A and looking like they could go deep into the playoffs is Warren Central. And we've got Reed Vance on the phone, and so let's join Reed if we can pick up. Reed, you with us?
Yes, George, how are you this evening?
Well, I'm fine. You know, it's just one of those nights. It's just been, I told Greg, it's been a long season. We've got adversity here and there, but we're doing fine. Russ has just pulled in.
Talk about adversity.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have to dock your pay, man. You're 20 minutes late.
Hey, I do what I can do, but I'm glad that Reed is on the phone because he picks up the slack for me.
He does pick up the slack.
And Reed, it didn't look like to me that was much of a game.
Well, it really wasn't, Russ, to be perfectly honest with you. The game started, the final score was Warren Central 46, Saltillo 19. It started with a safety and just snowballed from there, in Warren Central's favor. It was 23-0 after one quarter, got up to 46-0 with about a minute and a half left to play in the first half.
Ooh.
And, so it was just one of those nights where, everything went right for Warren Central. The thing that's really scary about this team right now is that their offense is clicking as good as it has all season. They, in the last two ball games, they have 7 scoring plays of at least 30 yards. So the big plays are coming now in bunches for Warren Central. I think Saltillo was kind of overmatched tonight. They had some talent, but, they came in 4-7. You're just going to have some of those playoff teams that, just are just there. And they were just there. They put up a great effort, but they really never had a puncher's chance in this ball game.
Well, who is it, that's in their area that allowed them to get this far in the playoffs? In other words, who did they have to beat to get here?
Saltillo?
Yeah.
Well, they went 2-3 in Region 1. They got wins over Lake Cormorant and Olive Branch. But the games that they lost in Region play, they got shut out 42-0 by South Panola. and they lost to Grenada 42-7, and I think both those teams won pretty handily.
Yeah, they did. They did.
So that was a pretty top-heavy division. Again, when you have divisions with only 5 or 6 teams, somebody
Yeah.
got to
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right.
I've seen George and I have seen teams that were like, 1-4 in the division, but they won the one game they needed to
Right.
go to the playoffs.
And I think that, if I'm not mistaken, there probably were a good number of lopsided games tonight because of that.
Yeah,
Well,
agree.
So, that's one of the consequences of moving from an 8-team division to a 5 or 6-team division.
It's a mixture of great games and lopsided games. But that's kind of the way it is in that first round or two of the playoffs.
Well,
Right.
so we're going to have Josh on later on in the show, and Josh Morgan, and we'll get to talk to him. I'm just glad Isabella's not upset tonight. I'd hate to see that.
Well, I tell you what, I want you to make sure you ask Coach Morgan about his son, who has developed into a really outstanding quarterback.
As a
And
freshman?
Just a freshman.
Wow.
And he's really developed a good touch, a good touch with his passes. But even more than that, he doesn't make mistakes. And, he doesn't throw interceptions. He doesn't fumble the football. He throws the ball away when it needs to be thrown away. He can run when he can run. He's got a lot of weapons, and he uses them wisely. He's just, the first couple of games of the season for Warren Central, it was Morgan and maybe Ryan Nelson, a little bit of Maddox Lynch at quarterback. And I think for a time there might have been a kind of a conversation, okay, which one of these guys do we really want to run with? Well, this is a freshman's team. And he may be a little reluctant, I don't know, to talk about his own son, but Nash has really developed into an outstanding.
Well, and to your point, Reed, this is a Vikings team who we talked about defense for the first 7 or 8 weeks of the season, and it sounds like the offense is now caught up with the defense, and that is a dangerous team to play.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. The defense is still there. I mean, they're still the best that I've seen in high school ball in quite a while. And they have now held, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They've held 6 teams to a touchdown or less this year. And
Whoa.
Then they were up 46-0 on a playoff team. Now a playoff team with a losing record, but a playoff team tonight. And so they got some good games. They got some good teams ahead of them that they could run into, and it'll start next week with Grenada, I believe.
Okay. Well, it's very possible. Now, we kind of kidded around about this. Well, we'll talk about this and let you go. But, this is a team that could wind up in the final.
Yeah, no doubt. Again, there's some good teams ahead of them. South Panolo's there.
Yeah.
Grenada's pretty good.
Grenada's pretty good, too.
Yeah.
They put a beat down on Vicksburg tonight. Vicksburg's pretty good football.
Yes, I noticed that. And did they shut them out? I know it was 20-0 at one point.
The score I had was
30-0.
37-8 was the final.
Wow. Well, Reed, we appreciate you staying up with us tonight. Corey, you've probably been back at the house and got the robe on, the slippers, the ascot, just kind of waiting to make your call.
I've got the jammies on. I don't like to talk about what I wear on the radio.
Well, we're all glad about that, Reed.
Had the roast beef sandwich, and now I'm going to bed.
Thank you, Doctor. We'll talk to you next week.
You bet. Thank you, guys.
All right, Dr. Reed Vance.
And before we get to another call, hey, we need to talk about that Prep MRA game. Man.
Buddy.
Did it go overtime?
No.
It was 28-25 Prep in regulation.
Yes, and
Okay.
Prep got the ball back with about 3:07 to go. Their defense held, made them punt. I mean, MRA had like a 3rd and 8, so they had to punt the ball, a 4th and 8, and they just ran the clock out. But the best, get this, the best play of the year we saw tonight. They called a timeout. Prep had 4th and 2. They don't get this. MRA gets the ball again with some time to score, and they don't need much time.
Right.
John White's one of the best quarterbacks in the state. I'll go on and say that. But Parker Puckett's not far behind him. All right, so they call a timeout. They come out in a wishbone formation. Okay, on 4th and 2. Parker fakes it. They go crisscross. They give it to the back coming across.
Oh, yeah.
First down.
No cross buck off the wishbone.
That's right. Nobody calls it cross buck anymore.
That's an Emery Ballard term there.
That's right. So the veer,
That's right.
It wasn't exactly the veer, but it was one of the most exciting games. gosh, and I was watching the Hartfield game. We're going to talk to Joseph here in a little bit.
Right.
They took care of and Tommy Barnett will call us. I thought JA gave him a pretty good ball game.
Now that game, the championship, is it Friday or Saturday?
I believe it's Saturday.
Okay.
I believe
at
it's
MC.
At MC.
At
yes.
beautiful.
At beautiful Robinsonville.
Yes, okay.
No relation.
No.
But
no.
It's going to be a pretty. I mean, Hartfield is Hartfield. We're going to talk about him tonight when we get Joseph on there.
Okay.
But I'm going to tell you, MRA is as good as any team in the MAIS, I believe. And Prep just took advantage of what they gave them. And Parker Puckett is a drop-back passer for Prep, and he had almost 200 yards on the ground.
Now, Noah was saying that John White set some type of record, passing record tonight.
He has passed for the most yards in Mississippi high school football history.
How about that?
Yeah.
That covers some ground.
Yeah, it does. No pun intended.
No pun intended.
But he's going to Southern, where he'll hook up with Davis Dalton, who played at MRA 2 years ago and scored all those touchdowns. So they're pretty excited about getting John White back there. And he's as good a passer. But we had great games across the state tonight.
Oh, we really did.
Dr. Dave was keeping me in tune on them. And so I know we got some people up. Oh, Harold's going to call. They had some interesting news down there in Petal this week.
Right.
Who else is on there?
Mike from Hattiesburg.
Mike from Hattiesburg is on there. So have you given all the scores yet?
I've given all the scores. I mean, we could probably go through them again, but given the time, you want to go through scores?
Let's go through scores, and then we'll pick up Harold and Mike on the other side.
All right. I've given you 7. We've given some 7As. Let's give you some more 6A scores. South Panola beat Callaway 56-6. Neshoba Central over Center Hill 41-14. Grenada beat Vicksburg 37-8. The score I had, and Mike can give us a correction here if this is wrong, but Pascagoula edged Hattiesburg 7-6 is what I have. Holmes County Central over Corinth. This is a 4A game, 34-21. West Point beat Gentry 54-8.
Don't count the Green Wave out ever.
Florence has advanced to the second round. They defeated Wayne County tonight, 36-0. Yeah. I mean, I can remember. I mean, I'm honest. I mean, I can remember. I mean, there were years where Florence was just terrible. I mean, but they've got an 8-4 record this year, and they've put together a pretty good team.
And we're going to get a report, and I think Brandon Shields was at that ball game tonight, so we'll get a report on the Florence Eagles.
Well, I mean, Brandon says it. It's true.
It's true. That's right.
Caledonia over Newton County, 27-24. That's a 4A game. Houston edged Senatobia, 21-20. Pass Christiana over Quitman, 27-7. Columbia remains undefeated, and one of the teams to really watch in 4A. They beat Greene County 49-20. Lawrence County over Macomb 28-25, and Poplarville defeated Forest County AHS 45-15.
Did you mention Picayune?
No, I don't have a final. I know they were way up over Forest Hill. I don't know what the final was. We'll get that.
Oh yeah, Carrie's going to call in about 10:30. Well,
but we don't have a log, man. Where's the log?
I gave it to Ty. Where's Ty?
Ty's
behind. They blocked out the screen.
They blacked him out. He's behind the screen somewhere.
Well, we'll get this taken care of.
He's incognito.
Hey, give us a call tonight if you're driving. First of all, be careful. It's slick out there.
Yes, it is.
And my car would have tested that. It's the one wheezing in the parking lot right now. But we'll be here till midnight tonight. We want to hear from you. And you can give us a call at 877-672-7464. We got a lot of coaches on tonight, and I think you'll really enjoy the show. There's Carrie Metzer. So we'll take a time out. Back with more Friday Night Under the Lights, made possible tonight by Cricket Wireless. Smile. You're on Cricket.
People who come to Cricket stay with Cricket. Like one of our favorite customers, Michelle.
I started my own app company, and with Cricket, I'm able to answer calls from my engineers and investors and know my signal's going to be great. If I had to describe Cricket in 2 words, they would be reliable and affordable.
5G Boss Mode activate. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Leaky roof? Malone Roofing has you covered long after the storm. Mississippi's roofing experts, setting the industry standards. Family owned for over 50 years. Call today or visit online at ecmalone.com.
Hello, Mississippi. Did you know that the average student graduates college with $30,000 worth of debt? That amount of debt can delay major life milestones, including getting married, buying a home, and starting a family. But don't worry, we've got some good news for you tonight. College Savings Mississippi and Treasurer David McRae can help you reduce or eliminate that debt. Their plans are flexible and affordable. Start saving for as little as $25 today. Visit treasury.ms.gov/college savings to learn more.
Did you know HBCUs are a great place to network? Did you know Cricket has a great network with speedy 5G and is a proud supporter of HBCUs? Yes.
Everybody already knows.
Dante, did you know this is an A and B conversation? So you need to see yourself out. He knows now.
When storms strike and wind and hail wreak havoc, Malone Residential Roofing is there through the restoration process all the way to completion. Contact Malone for your free storm inspection and consultation at ecmalone.com.
Welcome back to Friday Night Under the Lights, made possible tonight by Malone Roofing. You know, they're going to be real popular after tonight. All this rain coming down, and they're good folks, too. They're a part of your community. They're not just roofers. Malone Roofing. Let's go to the telephone, and let's start with Harold, because he's been waiting on there. And Harold, had some news come out of Petal this week that you lost your football coach. Tell me about that.
Yeah, Russ, he stepped down this week. I don't know all the details about it, but he did step down, and they'll be looking for another head coach started immediately.
Boy, how'd you like to be on that committee? Looking for somebody to be a head coach. But look, Harold, if you're a football coach out there and you want a great situation, Petal is your situation.
Hey, buddy, I tell you, it'd be something if I could do it, but but I like what I'm doing right now with my Panthers calling into, and I'm going to tell you guys something. I've been with you, I think this is my 6th year to call in or so, and I have enjoyed every moment of it. From the start, from the get-go, when I first called in to now, it's been one of the fantastic times of my life just to pick up the phone on Friday nights and listen to some of the finest guys on radio. I'm telling you guys.
Well, I thank you for that compliment. I got to turn it around and say to you, I was told this week that someone who listens to the show every week said to me, I know it's Friday Night Under the Lights when I hear Harold from Petal on there. So,
well, guys, I tell you, I'll let Mike explain what happened to that game there, because I watched it on the feed from here tonight, and that Pascagoula game. But guys, this is shocking. Now, I don't know if this has happened in the past with this, but the 3A teams from 7A are all in the playoffs, and this is going to be fantastic. I mean, Pearl at Brandon, if you look for a big crowd there, and then Meridian and Oak Grove. Those, guys, I don't know in the history of the playoffs if you ever had a sweep like that. No team from the coast, unless in the 6A with Pascagoula being there, I don't think any of the sport schools, Gulfport, Biloxi, Ocean Springs, or Harrison Central are there because of what happened tonight. It is amazing.
Well, and something else, I mean, you're forgetting the D'Iberville teams from the past. Now, they're rebuilding this year, but you're right. That's quite a sweep, and we've been seeing it coming for a couple of years. The coast football just getting better and better and better, and I think whoever wins South State's going to have to really put on a show, because it's going to be.
And guys, hey, don't count that North up there out by any means right now. I mean, you're looking at 4 good teams from the South right now that can take on the North squad. I'm not going to make any predictions saying that whoever goes up to Oxford and represents the South part of 7A, but you got some good guys up in that North division.
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
Don't count any of those the North out. And also, Russ, and I'm going to go out on a limb a little bit. Look out for Columbia, but they got a team in the 4A that's going to be really looking at them, and that's Louisville. I'm telling you right now, I think that's going to be a game that you and my best friend, I call him my partner, Josh West, I know is going to probably be up there with y'all calling some ball games.
Oh, yeah.
Let me tell you something. Whoever gets that 4A ball game, I hope it's on TV so I can look at you and say, hey, there's some fantastic guys calling the ball game. But, hey, guys, I have enjoyed it, and I look forward to it next year to calling in again because it's just like you said. I don't know what it would be like if I didn't call in to tell y'all because I think I can give you some of the inputs, but like I said, I couldn't go into detail about what actually happened, but I do know that he did step down, and it's something. But it's amazing to see the talent that we've got around in South Mississippi. I mean, you've got it all over the state of Mississippi. No matter if you're Madison MRA up there, like you said, Russ, with Jackson Prep, you've got all your academy schools, and I'm thinking, I haven't heard this yet, but I'm thinking some of the academy schools are looking to come down and play Hattiesburg and stuff because you had Tri-County playing Taylorsville this year.
That's right. That's exactly right.
And it would amaze me to see maybe a Tri-County play Hattiesburg or Tri-County play Gulfport or somebody.
Tri-County beat Taylorsville this year.
Yes.
So, hey, look, we got to run, Harold. I got to tell you, our show thanks you. You're one of our biggest supporters. We thank you for making us a part of your Friday night and making it a part of everybody else's Friday night over the years. And we look forward to number 7 next year.
And, hey, I may call y'all in next week about these other ones, but you never know.
you feel free to do so.
That'll be fine.
Thank you, brother. Thanks, Harold.
All right, Russ. All right, buddy.
All right.
Have a good one.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Who's next?
I say Joseph Craven.
Okay.
Of the unbeatable Hartville Hawks. Joseph, I was obviously watching this one as I was calling mine, and it just looked like too much Hawks tonight.
It did, but before I go anywhere else, y'all are going to really make me try to follow up Harold? I mean, like, I'm going to have to go up and get, that's like an MVP right there.
It's your lot in life, Joseph.
Yeah, it is. My mom was a pedal native, Ann King Craven. It runs in my blood, too, that pedal pass.
Well, there you go.
No,
there you go.
But you're right. No, you're absolutely right. It was the Hawks kind of had to go back to some of the early season stuff that they relied on, a lot of defensive effort to try to shut down what was I think the final score was maybe a little bit, a little bit kinder to the Hawks, or maybe a little less kind to JA than it should have been, because the JA Raiders, I thought, played a very, very good game, especially that first half entirely. They were pulling out all the stops on offense. They were pulling out some really creative plays to, get momentum, and they were motivated. It was a team that I probably could have, given the odds, given kind of where they stood in the season, they could have packed it up and gone home, and they didn't. And so my hats off to JA for their competitiveness. But at the end of the day, the Hawks defense stood strong. You had strong defensive line performances. You had linebacker Chris Jones just doing grown man things that he's kind of used to doing. The Hawks win against 13 wins out of 13 games this season. And I am exhausted.
I bet you are. And you got a championship game left, and it'll be against Jackson Prep. Did that surprise you?
It did not. It did not. Not that necessarily would have. I'm not a betting man. I wouldn't have wagered any money on either of those teams tonight, MRA and Jackson Prep. The only thing I would have bet on is that it would have been a heck of a game, which it was.
Yeah, you'd have won that bet.
But, yeah, exactly. And you and I kind of talked a little bit earlier today, just kind of messaging some. And I told you I thought that Prep in that probably learned a lot about how to finish the game off of that first matchup between those two teams. Now, I think I may have said something along the lines to you that if Prep got a lead, I didn't think that they would give it up. So I ate my words on that.
Well, I'll tell you that. I'll tell you,
back,
John White is a heck of a quarterback, and he met another one tonight, and a drop-back quarterback in Parker Puckett had almost 200 yards on the ground, and it was just a back-and-forth game. It was totally different from the one they played three weeks ago, and so now it's going to be Prep and Hartfield, and, of course, Hartfield is, I think you're ranked, in the top 6 in the state now in the Power 25?
Oh, that's a good question that I
think it
am
is.
so prepared to answer.
I am. I think it is. I looked it up, but it should be a good game. I tell you, the Hawks have it. They're clicking on all cylinders. And what did Jaslowski do tonight? How many yards did he have on the ground tonight?
He had a decent game. J.A. did a good job of keeping him from busting any big one. Yeah, because in the first matchup against J.A., he opened the whole game up by running an 80-yard touchdown.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah, so there was that. So they did a good job. He ended up with one touchdown on the ground to add to some of his scoring totals on the season. But I'm sure it was – I think ultimately there was a stat I wanted to point out, though. It is, though, on the defensive side, linebacker Chris Jones, if my stats are correct, he crossed the 100-tackle threshold on the season.
Wow. Where's he going? Where's he going? Is he going to Southern?
Yes, he's committed to Southern Miss, and I think there are any teams that are trying to swoop in to get a late linebacker and try to change his mind. They're certainly impressed with his performances. But he is a Southern Miss commit.
Well, Joseph, we'll probably have you in the studio next week because it'll be you and I in here and George, and so we'll have a lot to talk about, I'm sure. But appreciate you hanging in there with us tonight. Congratulations on the win and the undefeated season, and we'll look forward to seeing you. That game is at 6 o'clock next Saturday. Is that correct?
That it is. And you tell me where we're meeting for food beforehand, and I'll see you over there.
I'll send you that note early in the week. Thanks, Joseph.
Sounds good, brother.
All righty, bro. Thanks, man. Bye-bye.
It bears mentioning, we're talking about games, good games, some lopsided games. The game of the night, I think, maybe, it's arguable. Oxford beat Germantown in double overtime, 47-44. But did you hear this when you were, I know you've been scattered, but Meridian beat Ocean Springs at Ocean Springs?
No.
35-23.
No.
Yeah, 35-23. I understand that Daniel Hill just ran wild.
Well,
they couldn't stop him.
And this was a team that we'd kind of written off mid-October.
Oh, yeah. But, that is a huge win. Meridian was 5-6. But, they've been in a lot of games, won some good games.
Yeah.
But I don't think anybody saw them.
Who was it was talking about Daniel Hill last week? He was on the air.
I don't remember now.
It may have been Mike.
Might have been Mike.
It might have been Mike. Well, Mike Peterson's on deck with us, and Kerry Metzler is too. And
okay.
We're awaiting your calls. You can call us at 877-672-7464. Tonight's show made possible by Cricket Wireless. They've got the plans and the phones, and it's all information available at cricketwireless.com. We'll be back.
People who come to Cricket stay with Cricket. Like one of our favorite customers, Michelle.
I started my own app company, and with Cricket, I'm able to answer calls from my engineers and investors and know my signal's going to be great. If I had to describe Cricket in 2 words, they would be reliable and affordable.
5G Boss Mode activate. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Mississippi football families, have you thought about how you're going to tackle student loan debt? Don't do it on your own. Pass the ball to State Treasurer David McRae and his College Savings Mississippi team today. With College Savings Mississippi, you can lock in today's tuition rate, prepay college, and avoid student loan debt altogether. Don't let your finances get sacked because you didn't invest in your child's education. Visit treasury.ms.gov/college savings to learn more today.
Anytime, any storm. Malone Roofing has you covered. Number one in roof replacements, roof repairs, and sheet metal fabrication. Call today or visit online at ecmalone.com. Family owned for over 50 years.
1 in 10 Mississippians has unclaimed money awaiting claim at the state treasury. There's literally hundreds of millions of dollars waiting to be united with the rightful owner. At www.treasury.ms.gov to search. You'll see your name and stake your claim by following these instructions. You'll be asked for some basic ID like a copy of your license or a government-issued ID, then hit send. Treasurer David McRae has a dedicated unclaimed money team awaiting your claim, ready to return your money. Don't wait. Look for your name and stake your claim today. www.treasury.ms.gov.
Welcome back to Friday night under the lights. We'll be here till midnight tonight. I know a lot of folks driving back home tonight. Slow down, buckle up, be careful out there tonight. And we bring in Mike Peterson, who I had a chance to talk with earlier today. Now, Mike, I don't think we've got a final on your game, but it was close.
Yes, it was. Unfortunately, the upset bug decided to make a stop in Hattiesburg tonight and bite us, and Pascagoula beat us by a final score of 7-6.
Oh, 7-6 is the final. Who scored first?
Pascagoula scored right off the bat on their first possession on a 75-yard touchdown pass on a busted coverage, and believe it or not, that was the only time Pascagoula even threatened to score tonight. That was it. They didn't get rest of the night. They probably didn't get to the 35-yard line, and Hattiesburg struggled on offense tonight. They finally punched it in about the last play of the third quarter, but unfortunately missed that old extra point, and that was the difference in the ball game. As Pascagoula wins it by a final score of 7-6.
Well, you know, I know that's a bitter pill to take, but we were talking to Noah during the timeout, and he said today that Virginia, state of Virginia, started their high school playoffs today, and a team won today 104-0 in a playoff game. So it could be worse than 7-6. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you're right. It could be worse than 7-6.
Now, if you go back, Mike, do you go for two on that play, or do you kick and tie it?
Well, since it was early in the fourth quarter, like I said, maybe in the third quarter, that was the right call to tie the ball up, because you knew you was going to get some more possessions, and believe it or not, we did on our final possession of the ball game get down to the Pascagoula 25-yard line, but Pascagoula did what good teams do. They held defensively and took over and ran the clock out. So Hattiesburg ends the season with a record of 7-4, and we're gonna roll the basketballs out starting Monday.
Yeah, that's what you do when the season's over. Well, Mike, we want to thank you for being a part of our show all year, and Tony Vance just does a great job. We'll be talking with Tony because he's on the All-Star coaching staff, and his son Deuce will be a junior next year.
Senior next year.
Okay, senior next year, and at quarterback. So I think the Tigers they'll reload and they'll be back. But that's a tough one to call. But hey, Mike, we appreciate it. We're going to run, and if you go watch another game next week, give us a holler.
Well, it depends. I have a nephew that plays basketball for Sumrall, and when grandmother wants to go watch the grandchild play, somebody's got to go pick her up.
That's right. You do what you got to do. Hey, Mike, we got to run. We appreciate you, brother.
All right. Have a great weekend.
All righty. I'm trying to see. Is Isabella on there?
She is. I think
Carrie's been waiting.
Yeah,
Carrie. All right, we'll go Carrie and then Isabella. Then I see the big nasties on the show tonight.
I mean, we're drawing a crowd.
We're drawing a crowd tonight. The late season games brings out all the big people.
Right.
All right, let's go to Carrie. You didn't have much of a problem tonight.
Well, Pickett won 42-0, Russ, but they struggled early in the game. A lot of penalties, and Forest Hill played us a 14-0 game at the half. Pickett came out in the third quarter, asserted themselves, got a couple of quick scores, win it, like I said, 42-0. Quick Chris Davis, 16 rushes, 166 yards and a touchdown. Nike Ratcliffe, maybe our best athlete. He can play both sides. He'll have to make a decision when he goes to the next level. Do you want to play on offense or defense? He's that good. 7 rushes, 88 yards, 3 touchdown runs for him. Darrell Smith got a touchdown run tonight, his 14th of the year, and also our fullback Jeremiah Conte scored a touchdown for the Tide tonight as well. And he also rushed 68 yards on 8 carries, but and does a good job blocking on that toss sweep when we run it, and also the lead. But Tide going to have a tough one next week. Mike's talking about Pascagoula. We played Pascagoula earlier this year in the rain down at War Memorial Stadium. So next week we'll have a rematch with them. It'll be a tough ball game. We are fortunate we get to play them at home.
Yeah.
And that'll help some. But, it is what it is. Russ, I want to take you back a little bit.
All right.
Okay?
All right.
1997, okay? Barry Harper and I called in one night after Pickett had played at Stansville. See if you remember this. We had a young man made 16 tackles that night. And Barry told you how tough he was. You remember that?
I do.
And y'all said, and so Barry said he's tough, and you said what? How tough is he? Barry said tougher than a Waffle House steak. And well, anyway, we Barry nicknamed. We've had the Knicks at night. We've had the we've had Bucks number 2. We've had a lot of nicknames. Barry was pretty good at that. And anyway, he nicknamed this guy The Undertaker because he basically put people out. To this day, people still call him that. Well, let me tell you who that guy was. That guy was John Feaster. John Feaster, All-State Picayune, went on to play 2 years at Pearl Community College, All-American there, went on to play 2 years at University of Cincinnati. You may not know this, Russ, but he's now the head football coach at Moss Point.
You know what? I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah,
he's kind of made it full circle then, hadn't he? Yeah.
Well, he did it. He played at Picayune, came back and coached there for a couple of years with Coach Lee, went up to Pearl Central and coached there, and he went over to the head coach at Stone, got them to a South State a year ago, then he went to Moss Point. But John has a nephew I talked about there earlier. I mentioned Nike Ratcliffe. That's his nephew. And so John was in town tonight, and we had him on at halftime, talked about old times. But he made a comment tonight. I want to share this with you. He said, back in the day, before all the social media and all the videos, said it was a radio world. He said we couldn't wait for, the games on Friday night with relatives and all. We couldn't wait for the scoreboard show. So I thought this was kind of cool that he brought that up tonight.
Yeah.
So anyway, but
well, I got one for you, and you'll appreciate this, Carrie. There's a receiver on Jackson Prep's team named Peyton Puckett. And I've noticed the last, 5 or 6 games, he was wearing one of those black sleeves on one of the arms. And I thought, well, that's for compression. I don't know. Anyway, the story goes that he asked a guy at Waffle House who was wearing one. It was a Waffle House black sleeve. I mean, they wear those over there.
Yeah.
And he wanted it bad. And he asked the guy if he wanted to buy it. And the guy said, I can't sell you. Anyway, long and short, he got it. And he put it on his arm, and do you know why? Do you know what the Waffle House motto is? I'm always open.
Always open. That's pretty good.
That is very good. So his brother, who is quarterback, Peyton says, I'm always open.
Yeah, that's funny. Most receivers always say that anyway.
Yeah, I was always open.
Yeah.
Hey, well, we'll look forward to talking to you next week on that ball game and see how it motors on.
We will, Russ. You couldn't get open in the phone booth. Don't say
He's got deceptive speed.
George, Bless is all I can say.
I know.
Thanks, brother. We appreciate you. Love you, man.
All right.
See ya. All right, we
right.
got 5 minutes. Let's get some scores in for folks
All
that
right.
are just now getting in their
Yeah,
cars.
I want to verify this one, but the final I have is that Terry beat George County tonight. This is in 6A. 41-39 is the final I have. I think that's a significant game. We haven't given this score before, but Lafayette beat Canton 14-10. I was trying to find some others that we may have not gotten to or lately that we've not reported on. Let me see here.
Wait a minute. Now, Chris Evilhair told me that Tri-County lost.
Yes.
And what I'm seeing here is that Tri-County won 45-0. That can't be right.
No, I don't think that's the right score. We need to get somebody to clarify that.
We'll get Noah on that.
Yeah. Collins beat Lloyd Star 30-28. That was in 2A. Scott Central beat MAIS 17-7. Taylorsville shut out Lumberton 36-0. That was in 1A. Baldwin defeated Smithville 45-6. Of course, one of the big games of the night, Jackson Prep edged MRA, and I would say that was a mild upset. Wouldn't you say?
Mild.
Mild.
I would, yeah.
But 28-25. A winner over MRA. I don't know that I've given these lately. This was a 5A MAIS score. Simpson defeated Starkville Academy 26-7, and Adams County Christian defeated Copiah Academy 21-14.
How about that?
Yeah. So, and I guess Noah. I mean, we're not doing the 8-man.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we're doing 8-man, but he's giving us playoff 8-man at 11:30,
Correct.
right?
Correct. It's playoff football. All right, Noah, can you open the mic?
According to
there he is. All right.
It was official 40. It was official 45-0. Tri-County.
Tri-County wins 45-0.
Yeah, that's what I see.
Well, you know who Josh West will call and give us the scoop. Hey, but Chris Evilhair's never wrong.
Yeah. Well. Look, I don't know. We that's kind of the unfortunate thing in this day and age is you can get some
wrong scores.
We can get some variations.
Yeah.
So we need to like to talk to somebody official sometime.
Well, we're going to head to the top of the hour, and we got to tell you that we've got Isabella on the phone and Brandon Farrell's on the phone. Good, glad to have Brandon back. Also, John Murphy's trying to make his way in here. The Big Nasty is up. Also, when we get past the 11 o'clock hour, then we have coaches. By the way, did Madison Central?
Oh, they won big.
Okay,
they beat Lewisburg 46-0.
Okay, it was their coach Toby Coleman's on with us tonight, along with Blake Pinnock, who is the head coach at Gulfport. May not be in that great a mood. And then Greg hasn't made his way in yet, has he?
Greg
Flynn.
Oh, yeah, he was the first caller.
Okay, well, I was trying to get to the car, so I'm sorry I missed that. I bet it was great.
It was, and he was happy.
Yeah. Could he see the city?
He was quite happy. And he was looking forward to playing Brandon next Friday night.
Oh, don't you?
Let me slip one more score in here. This is in 4A. West Lauderdale ended Amory's season. You know, Amory had that.
Everyone on the road.
That 9-1, never played a home game because their stadium got destroyed. They lost tonight in the second round of 4A to West Lauderdale 14-7. West Lauderdale was 10-1. So, and they had to play that one on the road for sure. But anyway, congratulations to Amory. Great season under very adverse circumstances.
All right, we'll take a time out. Friday night, Under the Lights, made possible tonight by the College Saving Program of Mississippi. We'll be back.
People who come to Cricket stay with Cricket. Like one of our favorite customers, Michelle.
I started my own app company, and with Cricket, I'm able to answer calls from my engineers and investors and know my signal's going to be great. If I had to describe Cricket in 2 words, they would be reliable and affordable.
5G Boss Mode activate. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Hello, Mississippi. Did you know that the average student graduates college with $30,000 worth of debt? That amount of debt can delay major life milestones, including getting married, buying a home, and starting a family. But don't worry, we've got some good news for you tonight. College Savings Mississippi and Treasurer David McRae can help you reduce or eliminate that debt. Their plans are flexible and affordable. Start saving for as little as $25 today. Visit treasury.ms.gov/college savings to learn more.
I'll be right over. Oh, how'd you get your house fixed so fast? One call to EC Malone. If you don't know Malone, you don't know roofing. But what about insurance? They work with my insurance company so I don't have to. My repairs can begin without delay. Amazing. I'll call EC Malone Roofing right away. Thanks, Malone.
If the money's yours, you should have it. That's why State Treasurer David McRae has returned a record $80 million in unclaimed money to Mississippians. And there's hundreds of millions more, maybe with your name on it. Check the list. Visit www.treasury.ms.gov and see if you have any of the unclaimed money. Each year, banks, utilities, businesses, brokers, and insurance companies turn over millions of dollars to the state because they're not sure who is entitled to the funds. Treasurer McRae has an entire unclaimed money staff waiting to take your claim and return your money. Check the list today. Treasury.ms.gov.
Welcome back to Friday night Under the Lights. Gosh, show number 12?
12, that's
12.
correct. That's 12.
So we'll have a show.
12 out of 14.
12 out of 14. We'll have a
That's
show
right.
next week.
Yes, and the week after. And that'll be right before the finals.
Okay, so 2 weeks then, or the semifinal, or next week's semifinal. No.
No. Semifinals are like 2 weeks away.
I never get the quarter or the semi. It's always crazy, man.
Math's never been a good thing for you.
No, it hasn't. I slept a lot. All right, let's go to Isabella, who's been waiting on the phone. Isabella, I'm not sure anybody can stop these Warren Central Vikings.
Well, I'm going to have to agree with you right now, but, Grenada does play some defense up there. They look good tonight. I had at my work screens at home, I've got 3 monitors, so I had Pittsburgh game on one screen muted, the Warren Central game on the other screen, and was trying to find South Panola and Neshoba Central, but their streams wasn't available. But I don't know if Reed is still up listening, but I'm so mad tonight because I tried to bring him and Briggs didn't do the show tonight, and Brandon Davis, I tried to bring them brownies to the stadium.
Well, Isabella, we can take care of that. You've got plenty of time to get here.
I even bought a ticket. They wouldn't let me in to the gate. I said, look, no problem, I'll buy a ticket. And they wouldn't let me bring the brownies in, wouldn't let me take them up there, wouldn't call nobody to come get them and everything. So I'm sorry that y'all missed out on them, but I baked like 3 batches of brownies for them and stuff. So,
and Reed is known to put a brownie down pretty quick, so he would have enjoyed that.
I'm sure.
So you're coming to see us next week, right?
Yeah.
Where now they got to go to Grenada, the Vikings?
No, we host.
We host, okay.
And if we win that, it's a toss up between let's see, South Panola is playing who? Are they playing Neshoba?
Yes, I think they are playing Neshoba.
Okay, so if Neshoba won, that's who they're playing. So they will host, and then if Neshoba wins that game and we win that game, we would host.
Yeah.
If South Panola wins that game and we win, I think it's a toss-up. It's a tiebreaker because we're both number 1 seeds. So I don't know how that plays into it there. So
it may take a way to shake it out. Yeah. Well,
yeah, we're gonna play for one game at a time.
That's right.
Don't worry about Jamaica next week.
That's right. Well, we got to run. We appreciate you calling so much every week. Go ahead.
Real quick, y'all was mentioning a bunch of monikers and different things, sayings from over the years.
Yes.
1986. I had just graduated high school in '86. The following fall, Warren Central goes 10-0, mythical state champion. we had, and back then there was a bye. We sat out the first week, waited for Moss Point to play Laurel, and the winner got us. Well, it was Moss Point. So we headed down to Moss Point. Had to travel. We hadn't played a playoff game yet. We're number 1 in the state. Had to travel to Moss Point to play. On the back of the school bus, they had, "It's Miller time." because of Billy Miller, you know, the head coach at Warren Central. Look, we went down there for a drubbing. They beat us like we had stole something. 41-20 was that score.
Wow.
Oh,
well, you don't want to get down there. I'm telling you, you get down on the coast, I'm telling you, anything can happen down there.
Yeah,
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
War Memorial is a hard place to win.
It is.
And it was Greg Flynn that referenced the running back for Meridian, I think it was last week.
Hill,
Okay, yeah, she's right.
9 yards.
That's right.
That's right. You're right as well. It was Greg that talked about him and how good he
Yep.
played. And tonight he did it again.
Yeah, never count out Marcus Bowles.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Hey, we're going to run, girl. Thanks so much. We appreciate you. We'll talk to you next week. All right, let's.
Take care.
All righty, let's go to the big nasty. Justin Smith, how are you, big boy?
Hey, man, I'm doing good, Russ. Man, I just can't tell you, y'all got that wrong. Tri-County did lose the game. I think the Chris was talking about. They lost to Taylorsville 40-35 earlier this year. And then to tell you too, that you go back 2016, Region 6 3A or 6A3 Region 3 swept the Coast Region that year in the playoffs. You had Fettle beat Biloxi that year in the first round, and then you had Meridian beat George County that year, and you had Brandon beat Gulfport, and then you had Pearl beat the Iberville.
Wow.
Pearl beat the Iberville, and you had Pearl beat Biloxi, and that was the year. And of course, Pearl finished runners-up to Clinton in the state championship, and then of course, you know, that was a year of where the come at the end of the next year, Pearl won the state championship in 2017. But I'm just going to tell you, too, another quarterback y'all need to get on the radar for next year and the next 2 years coming. That's going to be Jack Barrett for Pearl. That kid plays relentless, never gives up. They had 2 rushing touchdowns, and I know Greg hit on it, but it was 13-3 going in that fourth quarter, and the turnovers by Gulfport, and Jack can swing it, he can run it. He had 2 rushing touchdowns there in the ball game, and that Pearl defense is just, they can play lights out, Russ. I mean, we'll go to Brandon next week, so it's going to be interesting to see what we're going to do. Because I'll tell you, last week we held here on last week, and if you go back to when a couple weeks ago when we played Brandon at Pearl, that was a good ball game, and hey, we held Big Blunt in check that week. So we'll see if that defense can step up, cover the pass, and hey, I like my Pirates going over to Brandon next week and beating the Bulldogs.
Yeah, Greg Flynn was really excited about getting to play Brandon. He really was.
Yeah.
He wanted the rematch.
Yeah, he calls them the Bullpups over there. So
or something a little more derogatory than that, but that's just Greg.
Trying to keep it clean.
But anyway.
Well,
he beat, I mean, how many seasons have had 2 eat dirt games in a season? That's almost hard to believe.
That's hard to believe. And now it's eat pellet.
Yeah, whatever.
Hey, Justin, thanks for the call, big boy. We're going to run. Talk to you next week.
All right, take care.
All righty.
Take care, Russ.
Okay, let's go to James Murphy, who, James, you had the roundup tonight, but what game jumped out at you the most that you were covering?
Well, guys, I don't know if you're very used to hearing Morville's name this time of year, but they're headed to the 3rd round for the first time in their school's history after a comeback that could be described as quite something. They were down 20-6 heading into the 4th quarter. They score with 5 minutes left, get the onside kick, score again. It's a tie game. They then get a stop and score another touchdown with under 2 minutes left. They win. They beat Humphreys County 27-20.
Now, are they Class 2A or 1A?
The 3A.
3A, so they're growing over there. I remember when Morville was a 1A. And So that's a big win for them tonight. What else happened up there in that part of the state?
We had East Webster upsetting Kossuth 33-10. That was Kossuth just had a couple of turnovers that they weren't quite able to recover from. Vardaman stays undefeated. They beat Tupelo Christian 42-14. You know, the Rams that was their biggest test all year, and they passed that one with flying colors.
Wow.
Oxford, Germantown in double overtime. Lafayette comes back to beat Canton 14-10. Tupelo beats DeSoto Central 34-14. Starkville shuts out South Haven 44-0. West Point beats Gentry 54-8. Houston needed a missed two-point conversion to beat Senatobia 21-20. Calhoun City stays undefeated. They beat Northside 36-6. Hamilton beats, correct me if I'm wrong on the pronunciation, Sebastopol.
Sebastopol, yeah.
That's it.
Baldwin beats Smithville 45-6, and Biggersville beats Okolona 49-8.
You think Biggersville's got a shot at being there in the final game?
The state championship?
Uh-huh.
I think if that athleticism is clicking and they're fundamentally sound, there's nobody that can beat them.
I agree. I agree with that. And this is normally the time of the year they just pick it up. I mean, they just go into a different zone. You know, that is really good football up there, James. I'm glad you follow it, and I'm glad that you get us those scores because, you know, a lot of people don't know what's going on up there in the northern part of the state, and you cover that for us. You've done it so well this year. And, you know, you've got some big games up there left to play. Who do you think, you know, turns in a good one next week?
Oh, it's tough to say. I have to take. I'm looking at some of the matchups right now, and I'm just thinking of this off the top of my head. Let's see.
Who's Tupelo got?
Tupelo is got Madison Central.
Ooh!
That was going to be good, as it usually is. You guys would probably know more better than I. I'm gonna. This might be. I don't know how hot this would be. I can see East Webster giving Winona a ball game.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, man, we appreciate you staying up with us tonight and getting us in the groove over all of that's going up there.
Yeah, thanks. I have a lot of fun doing it.
Well, you're sure good at it, and we appreciate the fact that you spend your time with us on Friday night. Thanks, James. We're going to move on, but we appreciate the call.
Thanks, guys.
All right, let's go to Brendan Farrell now. Hadn't been on in a couple of weeks. Glad to have you back. What you been up to tonight?
Yeah, I was, as James kind of just mentioned, I was down at Kossuth for their loss to East Webster.
And was that? Would you call that a mild upset or a big upset?
I would call it a mild upset. Brad Locke does the rankings for the Daily Journal, and in our coverage area, he had East Webster as the number 4 small school in the area, and he had Kossuth at number 2. But Kossuth has been on quite the roll there. So I would say it's a mild upset, especially given the score margin.
Well, good ball game up there, and it sounds like you're on your way home. Is it raining up there?
It was just kind of on and off up here. Never really anything heavy.
Well, that's good. I hope everybody had a good time tonight. Keep it between the lines. We will talk to you next week, my friend. Hey, we've got Granny on the line. We also got Tommy Barnett. But do you know the head coach for Madison Central Jaguars coming up in the next segment on Friday night Under the Lights? We'll be back.
Hello, Mississippi. Did you know that the average student graduates college with $30,000 worth of debt? That amount of debt can delay major life milestones, including getting married, buying a home, and starting a family. But don't worry, we've got some good news for you tonight. College Savings Mississippi and Treasurer David McRae can help you reduce or eliminate that debt. Their plans are flexible and affordable. Start saving for as little as $25 today. Visit treasury.ms.gov/college savings to learn more.
People who come to cricket stay with cricket. like one of our favorite customers, Michelle.
I started my own app company, and with Cricket, I'm able to answer calls from my engineers and investors and know my signal's going to be great. If I had to describe Cricket in 2 words, they would be reliable and affordable.
5G Boss Mode activate. Smile, you're on Cricket.
When storms rage, Malone responds. From claim to completion, Malone Roofing has helped rebuild communities for nearly 50 years. Contact Malone for 24/7 service at ecmalone.com.
If the money's yours, you should have it. That's why State Treasurer David McRae has returned a record $80 million in unclaimed money to Mississippians. And there's hundreds of millions more, maybe with your name on it. Check the list. Visit www.treasury.ms.gov and see if you have any of the unclaimed money. Each year, banks, utilities, businesses, brokers, and insurance companies turn over millions of dollars to the state because they're not sure who is entitled to the funds. Treasurer McRae has an entire unclaimed money staff waiting to take your claim and return your money. Check the list today. Treasury.ms.gov.
Welcome back to Friday Night Under the Lights. Russ Robinson along with George Broadstreet, who has been giving us all the scores tonight. Some great scores. Ty Bailey is on the phone. Noah Crow is our producer tonight. We get Chris Saxon back next week. Should be nice to have Chris back.
Off the DL.
Off the DL. I'm still on the DL. I had to take that brace off. I just can't handle it anymore. So if it hurts, it hurts.
Just don't throw yourself into the door or anything like that.
No,
okay?
I've already done that.
Yeah.
Let's go to Benji Bailey, who wants to talk about Jackson Prep. Benji, you were down there. You were on the field. Talk to me.
Russ, it was just a fantastic high school football game tonight. I mean, just classic playoffs. You had a little mist, a little rain in the air. Temps starting to drop. It just felt like, really a playoff football game. 2 very well coached teams, lots of talent, really good quarterback play for both teams. I just say it was a fantastic football game. The difference tonight was really Prep's quarterback, Billy Puckett, who has been known as more of a pocket guy. Tonight, his legs really, probably were the difference in the game.
They were.
No question. And then I thought Prep defensively stood up and made enough stops in critical moments. One, particularly on a short field after a short punt, I thought they did a fantastic job there. So I thought Cole Gideon for Prep was fantastic in the backfield as well. And look, I mean, give MRA credit. They made a bunch of plays as well. It was just a really good football game.
You were talking about Billy Puckett, and he did. I mean, it was a shootout. John White, is one of the best quarterbacks in the state. He threw some beautiful passes tonight. It was just a classic. But I thought the play call of the year was Coach Goodwin tonight on a 4th and 2. I mean, Benji, the whole season's on the line. Talk to me.
Yeah, that's right. Ironically, and I'm going to have to ask Coach Goodwin maybe sometime when we're not on air, but I want to ask him about the 3rd down call. You've been running the ball really well. Offensive line's been carrying you down the field, good running back play. And then on 3rd down, he ran a little bootleg and almost got his quarterback called for a big loss, but thankfully Billy survived that. And so now you're 4th and 2, and Coach Goodwin's probably kicking himself that he probably didn't just pound that 3rd down play. but then he calls that 4th down
wishbone
quarterback draw. I mean, it was just beautiful, just a fantastic play call. And look, I mean, Coach Goodwin is a fantastic leader for these young men, and Just thrilled to have him. But yeah, he came up big when we needed him the most, for sure.
Well, and of course your prize for winning that game tonight is you get Hartfield next week.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I think I didn't see a final for Hartfield tonight.
35-7.
Yeah, pretty. I knew it was a pretty big spread, and
actually, JA played him pretty well, Benji. They really played him pretty well. Tommy Barnett's on the phone. He's going to tell us a little bit about it, but they played him pretty well.
Well, and that doesn't surprise me. I mean, Jay's got a lot of talent. I mean, they've got some really good football players, and you knew they wouldn't just lay down and hand it to Hartfield. And so, but eventually, that Hartfield size and strength and speed and athleticism, I mean, it's just everywhere.
Yeah.
So, Prep's got their work cut out for them next week. But, look, I love where this team is right now coming into, a state championship game next week, and excited about it. It's going to be a lot of fun, some competing sort of ways the teams go about things, and so we'll see how it goes next week.
All right, Benji. Thanks so much, brother. We'll talk to you then.
Absolutely.
Thank you, man. Toby Collins is the head coach for Madison Central's Jaguars, and he joins us on the telephone tonight. Coach, I don't have to ask how you are. You got to be feeling pretty good right now.
Oh, I'm wonderful, Russ. Everything's good right now in my world.
I don't know why it is, Coach, and explain this to me, but it seems like in August, everybody, jumps on the Madison Central bandwagon, and then maybe there's a game or something that you'll lose kind of in that, drive to the state championship, and everybody gets off the bandwagon. Well, why'd they get off? This is a great football team.
Well, I think we are. And, we've had some diversity throughout the year, lost 3 in a row, and, kind of been up and down, got a young team, still kind of feeling their way through it, but, come playoff time, looks like we're, starting to kind of figure things out. So it's very rewarding to watch our kids go out tonight and compete and play the way they did, played well, both sides of the ball.
Well, and you hear it every year. It's not how you're playing in August and September. It's how you're playing in November, and you guys are clicking on all cylinders. How difficult was it to make the coaching change within a 50-mile range?
Oh, it was difficult. I spent 6 years at Northwest Rankin, 6 good years. A lot of good people over there. Made some lifelong friendships. So it was a difficult decision. But I'm very proud to be where I'm at now. Central has been really, really good to me and my family, and I love it there.
Well, it's a great situation, and we have really good situations all over the state on Friday night, and
absolutely.
And Madison Central just they still call it the jungle over there.
Yeah, we still got the jungle.
I remember going over there with a guy. I haven't seen him since that game. That was like 9 years ago. He didn't get out of the jungle like I did that night. It's a tough place to play. So talk to me about what's coming up next for you guys.
Well, looks like we'll be traveling to Tupelo next week. They won their game tonight against Soto Central and won our region, so they were the 1 seed. We were the 3 seed, so therefore we have to go to the game.
How are you going to get your guys' eyes used to that blue turf up there?
Well, it does take some getting used to. It's a unique place to play, in that it creates an element that you can't prepare for. I like to think it doesn't really matter what color the grass is, but it does make a difference.
It does make a difference. Well, Toby, congratulations on the win tonight. You've won everywhere you've been, and I know you had great years at Northwest Rankin, but when I heard that this is where you were going, and somebody said, well, he's got some big shoes to fill over there, and I said, well, Toby's got big feet. Have you seen him? I mean, but I think you've done a great job with this football team. I think they're peaking at the right time, and I think this year your best football may be ahead of you.
Well, Russ, I appreciate it, and I hope you're right. This is the time. This is the time where you need to get hot, because it's every week you play in one game season. You don't win, you don't get to play the next week. So it's the same all the way across the state. But it's just a fun time of the year. The playoffs, it just brings a different feel. It's just our kids were excited tonight, more excited than I've seen them all year long.
Oh.
And it's really because it's playoff time.
Yeah.
And, everybody's looking for that ultimate prize.
Well, and after your season is over, hopefully it'll be up in Oxford. After that, you still got more coaching to do, don't you? Aren't you one of the All-Star games?
I am. Yeah, get to have the privilege of coaching in the Mississippi Alabama All-Star game this year, which will be played in Hattiesburg. Looking forward to it.
We're looking. I'm glad we're getting them on our playground this year.
Yeah, yes. I like to coach in the game when it was in Hattiesburg.
Yeah.
It's a whole lot more fun to play on your home turf.
It is for a fact. Toby Collins, thank you so much for staying up with us tonight, and congratulations on the win, and best of luck to you as you go toward that Oxford trip.
Well, Russ, thanks so much for having me.
All right, man. Thanks so much. All right, let's go to the telephone. Tommy Barnett has been holding on, and Joseph Craven got on earlier tonight. And, Tommy, I'm watching this game with my left eye, which is incidentally my best eye. And I'm saying, you know what? You guys are playing with these guys. And you did. I mean, attitude-wise, you guys came out sharp.
Yeah, Russ, and I was going to laugh when I say this, but that was the closest 35-7 game I've ever seen.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right.
I mean, it really is 7-7 after the first quarter. Hartfield had a big second. Of course, really, Jay just so beat up at the season in the injuries. I mean, Keselowski had another field day against us. He had over 200, I think almost 230 yards.
Ooh.
But, Tapper didn't really do much to hurt us through the air. We had one busted coverage play that resulted in a touchdown.
I saw that one.
But Russ, we had in the second quarter, we had 4 possessions that got to the Hartfield red zone.
Yep.
3 picks and a turnover on downs.
Oh, that's just brutal.
2 of the 3 picks were inside the 5-yard line.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, I mean, really, and I'm not saying we score on every one of those possessions, but more times than not this year, we scored on the majority of that type of setup.
Right.
And really, at the half, it should have been 28-21, maybe even 28-28. In the second half, the defense played much better. Actually held Hartfield, I think. I think we made them punt 2 or 3 times. So, guys had nothing to be ashamed about. Just, you got to make, when it's playoff time, you got to make plays.
That's right.
And Hartfield did tonight, and we didn't.
Well, probably JA did the same thing this year, in my opinion, that they did last year. They were one of the better football teams in the MAIS in the last 4 weeks of the season. I mean, you guys did what you had to do. You got better. And by the way, I watched your halftime tonight, and of course, I know Yubi he's star-studded. I mean, when he comes across on the screen, you look good tonight on the screen.
Well, I don't. I've got a face made for radio. I wouldn't. I'm not what they call eye candy. But I enjoyed it. I usually love being down on the sideline with our kids.
Yeah.
And give them perspective from the field level. But this year we've kind of done a special former J player, which I am one of those. But this week I got backed out, so I jumped into the commentary spot.
Well, there you go. There you go.
Good report, Tommy.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling.
Always good to have you, pal. Any night you want to call, you call, brother. Tommy Barnett from Jackson Academy. We're going to take a timeout. Crazy Eights with Noah Crow coming up. Stay with us.
People who come to Cricket stay with Cricket. Like one of our favorite customers, Michelle.
I started my own app company, and with Cricket, I'm able to answer calls from my engineers and investors and know my signal's going to be great. If I had to describe Cricket in 2 words, they would be reliable and affordable.
5G Boss Mode activate. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Leaky roof? Malone Roofing has you covered long after the storm. Mississippi's roofing experts, setting the industry standards. Family owned for over 50 years. Call today or visit online at ecmalone.com.
Hello, Mississippi. Did you know that the average student graduates college with $30,000 worth of debt? That amount of debt can delay major life milestones, including getting married, buying a home, and starting a family. But don't worry, we've got some good news for you tonight. College Savings Mississippi and Treasurer David McRae can help you reduce or eliminate that debt.